talk to you like this fear.
Hand foot only at the end. Hand foot only. Hand foot on the line only. Body and bag across. Body and bag across the line. Body and bag all the way across the line. Back and forth. Body and bag across the line. Body and bag. Body and bag across the line.
Body and bag.
Body and bag. Body and bag. All the way across. All the way across.
All the way across. All the way across. Get back. That's all you gotta do. Backwards only. Backwards only. All the way back. Come on, you got this. That's all you gotta do. Beat it. Beat him. Come on.
Side step on there.
Body and bag across the line at the end. Keep going. Pull it. Go. Go, go, go. You're there. Body and bag. All the way. Hand across the line.
Anderson on. Anderson on.
That's a fast 80. Side step only.
It's amazing how much faster they get.
Foot only. Foot on the line only. You gotta get your promo.
You're just this big. He needs to touch him. Raise this kid. That didn't matter.
The OIC, he'll give it on your mark, get set, go, your grader, get down and get back as fast as you can safely, okay? It is a timed event, so if you want to sprint down with it, that's on you. On your mark, get set, begin. Good, good. Good, go, go, go. Good job, good job, good job. Good, good.
Let's go! 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Good job, Sergeant Moyer. Wait, 45-pound plate.
Careful down there.
There you go, there you go. Hit it, hit it. Let's go, bro. Take it off, let's go. Let's go. Kettlebells, kettlebells. Come on. 10, go, go, go.
Go. 1.
Come on. Go on. The last bit, push.
No, last bit. Let's go run.
On the command go, begin the push-up by bending your elbows and lowering your entire body as a single unit. Keep pushing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Jump, jump. Begin. You are being tested on your ability to complete the 2-mile course in the shortest time possible. Go! One minute, 33 seconds. 1 minute, 36 seconds. 1 minute, 40 seconds. 45 seconds.
Let's go, Mijo.
3 minutes.
Come on, let's
15
go.
seconds.
You guys are doing good. I got you.
18.
Got you, Thompson. Keep pushing.
Keep going. 3 minutes, 37 seconds. 3 minutes, 39 seconds. 5 minutes and 3 seconds. 5:05.
Got your sheets.
Here we go. Here we go, guys. Go, Rocket, go. He's bringing let him pull you. Right next to somebody. There it out. I'm going to do it.
My name is Specialist Ruff from South Dakota. I think all the competitors are actually cheering each other on. There's pretty good camaraderie here. I think iron sharpens iron. All of these guys out here are really the best there is, and they push me to my limits for sure. I think it went well. I gave it all I got, so we'll see what the scores look like at the end. The entire state of South Dakota has really been behind me for this whole event. Obviously my wife and my family has been really good supporting all my training times.
To prepare for the ACFT, you're going to have to start training anaerobic endurance, strength and power, as well as speed and agility. So we want to talk about the 6 fundamental movements that soldiers are going to need to learn to prepare for the ACFT. They are the squat, the deadlift, the bench press, the overhead press, and the pull-up, as well as a rotational core exercise.
Every soldier across the force has physical demands placed on them, and we have got too many musculoskeletal injuries in the force with 10% of our force that can't do their job. And so we have got to have a change in culture that better prepares soldiers for the demands of soldiering.
The ACFT measures all 10 components of fitness, whereas the APFT only measures 2, muscular endurance and aerobic endurance. Training all 10 components of fitness helps reduce injuries.
Personally, some of the events are very challenging for me. And I am not going to run out and start trying these exercises without training for them.
With each new exercise routine comes a greater risk of injury. One of our biggest fears is that soldiers, especially those who haven't foundationally trained, will immediately go out and start pushing sleds or hucking a 10-pound ball without any prior preparation.
We will train physical fitness over a longer period, more sustained period of time, which will improve our fitness levels, allow a higher percentage of soldiers to pass the new ACFT, which will result in our ability to better perform our combat mission.
Hi, my name is Master Sergeant Jay King. I am the Master Fitness Trainer for the Kentucky Recruiting and Retention Battalion in the NCOIC of the Kentucky Army National Guard ACTS program. In October 2020, the Army Combat Fitness Test goes into effect. The test consists of 6 events, each with corresponding standards and time limits. Today we will go over each of the 6 events, show you what they are, along with some tips and alternate exercises you can use to help prepare yourself for the test. So the first event is going to be the strength deadlift. This is done with the hex bar, which looks like this. You'll step through, want your feet about hip width apart, not really far. I want them sort of close together underneath the hips. Go down, grab center mass of the grips, nice flat back, and lift. You have to do 3 reps, touch and go for the event. So without a hex bar to do these deadlifts, standard deadlift on a regular bar is just as good. Again, feet kind of close together, hands to your side, bar really close to your shins. Simply lift, keeping the bar close, up and down. And if you do not have access to a barbell at all, simply finding anything that's relatively heavy, equal on both sides, kettlebells, dumbbells, ammo cans, wherever you want, all works equally well when practicing for the deadlift event. Okay, so the standing power throw was performed with a 10-pound ball. Basically standing, you're going to throw the ball backwards as far as you can. This is probably the most technique-oriented event of the new PT test, because basically if you try to muscle this, strengthen it, throw it back as far as you can, you can fail miserably. So basically you want to think on this ball, a lot of power generated from the hips, and you want to throw the ball up as opposed to back. So basically bringing the ball down, you are allowed to swing. Basically bring the ball down, throw it up, like so, and it counts where the ball lands.
Some of the common injuries that we're seeing during the ACFT are chronic injuries as well as acute injuries. Those chronic injuries tend to be those inflammatory responses that we see, such as biceps tendonitis as well as patellar tendonitis. Now, inflammation of the tendon is what commonly is called the tendinopathies or the tendonitis. Acute injuries that we see are a lot of those sprains and strains during the ACFT. Most of those injuries are preventable. One of the best ways to work on preventing those injuries is through flexibility. So when you're warming up for your daily physical training or you're warming up for your ACFT, you really want to focus on stretching. Stretching helps increase flexibility, which helps increase motion, which helps decrease that risk of injury. So you really want to take that time and stretch well. So you want to take a good 15-20 minutes if you have that availability to you. But stretching throughout the day, when you have a free moment to spare, or even when you're sitting at home in front of your television, really does help increase that flexibility and that motion. It's great what your warm-up is during the ACFT, but adding that little extra, whether you're in between your events or even leading up to your warm-up before the ACFT, is really helpful with increasing that flexibility. Another great way to help prevent injuries is really practicing the correct motions that you are performing during those events. So when you are working on your deadlift, you really want to focus on those things that Jessica spoke about in the beginning, where you're having that flat back, engaging your core, and using the legs. During the ACFT, you want to drink when you're thirsty. Don't force yourself to drink in between your events. You also want to take that time that if you're feeling tight, you want to make sure that you are taking that time outside and during your rest period to stretch. Don't let yourself, especially in the cold weather, get tight. You want to make sure that you're maintaining warmth in your body, maintaining movement, and maintaining your flexibility. Those things will help you be successful in reducing injuries, such as those strains from the deadlift if you strain your back, or even pulling a muscle during your sprint, drag, carry, or even your run. So when you finally complete your ACFT, the first thing everyone wants to do is relax. What you really want to do though is you really want to focus on making sure you eat something after the ACFT. You continue hydrating afterwards, as well as stretching. By doing those things, you help your body recover, so that if there is an injury, you're already doing the basic steps to take care of your body to help yourself recover and heal. Typically, when it comes to stretching, you want to stretch to where your body feels well warmed up. And that's different for every single person. There is no standardized set of time or set of measure that will tell you when your body is ready. You physically have to feel ready. If you do not feel ready, if you feel tight anywhere, you want to take that time and make sure that you're spending it focusing on those areas that you need to increase that flexibility.
New ACFT, the new PT test that's being put out, is a new challenging environment that we're all learning to grow with. We've got 6 events, a few events that people have not traditionally done over the years, but we're trying to get people a little bit more physically challenged to understand the requirements of what their body needs to go through while they're in combat environments, what they have to do when they go down range. And so the ACFT is based on movements that you would do while you're in combat. This year is the diagnostic year. Everybody's going to have to do 2 diagnostic tests, which they will upload into the system so that Big Army has a accumulation of data for the test for this year. And then in FY21, we'll be implementing the test fully. This group actually was a test group last year. They were part of the pilot program. So we had approximately 63 units across the Army that tested out the program so that they can understand what the requirements were. And so Army looked at the results of the pilot program and they made some tweaks and some adjustments to the ACFT. And then this year we're implementing it at the diagnostic level, and then next year we'll do a full implementation. The previous PT test, the one we still are using as the primary PT test, is just challenging only so much. It's not a full body challenge. The new ACFT is a full body challenge, and it's causing them to have to really work that much harder on their fitness, which is what we want, more physically fit soldiers.
What we've been doing a lot of in the battalion is really focusing on the exercises that the ACFT needs you to be good at in order for you to excel at those events. Our battalion standard right now is a 500. As a company commander, as a leader, I want to be setting the example for everyone. So what I want to say is, hey, look, I can get a 600. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it. The reason I got the 600 was because I've been doing these ACFT familiarization classes, doing these familiarizations and getting guys down to Cantrell with their team and letting them see how it works is much more effective with the ACFT. We weren't just doing strength training, we weren't just running, we weren't just training for the PT test, but we're doing all those things and we're doing them together. And what you end up doing, if you outlift the runner and outrun the lifter, you end up crushing the ACFT. Not only have I done all the events, but I've also been training guys in our formation on how to do it. The soldiers that are in the formation, they're not all built the same way. So you've got to be a good coach and understand what works for that individual soldier to help them excel at the events in the program. You set that mark high, and I think a lot of times soldiers will, they'll impress you.
Go, go, go! Now when we're getting into what to eat during the ACFT, with it being something that's more than 90 minutes, it could be beneficial to eat something with, or drink something with carbohydrates during the ACFT. So this could be something like a sports drink, or maybe also a piece of fruit if you weren't able to eat it before can also be a good thing. Again, we also want to focus on hydration. So if you do pick something like a sports drink, that kind of can do both things. It can hydrate you and provide you those carbs for those high intensity exercise. We do know that consuming carbohydrates in activities longer than an hour can help delay fatigue and therefore can improve your performance, especially at the end when you're going for that 2 mile.
Pro tip, get a 32-ounce Gatorade bottle, consume it like, you know, the night before or the day before, and then you could actually make your own protein drink, like 1/3 coconut water, 8 ounces, right? 8 ounces of water, and then add in like, you know, some branched chain amino acids. And you can sip on that throughout the workout in order to, like, you know, have your potassium, right? Have a little bit of electrolytes.
Electrolytes are super important when we are doing very hard exercise because we are sweating, and when we do sweat, we do lose electrolytes as well. So that's really important, and maybe this isn't the time to just stick with water during exercises.
Yeah, it's kind of like in this room, like I'm sweating profusely, like listening. But yeah, replacing electrolytes, replacing sodium during the workout is definitely essential to like having, I guess, maximum performance or setting yourself up for success as far as maximum performance.
So the really main takeaways here are, number one, we're going to start with a foundational diet. We want to make sure that we are including all of the macronutrients that are going to support our performance. Number two, we're not going to try anything new that day or the couple of days leading up because we know that everyone's body is different. And number three, trialing these out in PT, you know, early morning workouts. We know you're not waking up too super early beforehand, so that we know that going into the ACFT, we know what works, we know what doesn't, because what works for you might not work for somebody else and vice versa. So we really want to make sure we are practicing these just like we are practicing some of the events, because we know that nutrition and training both kind of work together really to make you max the ACFT.
All right, so we covered before taking the ACFT and during the ACFT. What are some tips we need for after the ACFT? Like, what would be some good foods to consume?
So when we're talking about after the ACFT, we're really focusing on recovery. So there are 4 main components of recovery that we really want to look at. We want to refuel, so we really want to replenish those carbohydrate stores that we burned up during that maximum intensity exercise. These are things like fruit, or we could do something like a full meal with breads, pastas, rice, something like that. Number 2, we want to rebuild. We really want to make sure that we have the protein, those building blocks to build back those muscles, because during exercise we do tear down those muscles. Number 3, we want to rehydrate. When we are exercising at high intensities, we are sweating out water, so we want to replace that. And then we also want to rest, so we want to give our body the ability to build back what we broke down in that exercise. So carbohydrates, we really want to focus on protein and water are the three big ones. However, if we can have a full meal right after and include those fruits and vegetables, those will provide antioxidants to help decrease some of that inflammation that can also be caused. So this could be done with something like a smoothie. You can have your carbohydrates from fruit as well as the antioxidants from the fruit. You can use something like a Greek yogurt or a milk and have that protein in there. And as well, if we add milk, that's also hydrating, so we are hitting all of those 4 components in something like a smoothie that can be super quick, and we can have that right after.
All right, so I'm all about the protein. What are some other like protein sources that you can take post ACFT in order to like replenish, the breaking down of the muscles, like the amino acids?
So protein can come from 2 different things. We have our plant sources and we have our animal sources. So our plant sources are some of those things like those nuts, seeds, things like that. Animal sources are typically what people think about in protein. So, your chicken, your beef, your eggs. If you are a soldier who goes to the DFAC after completing the ACFT, you can have a full meal breakfast. You can have your eggs for protein. You can have your carbohydrates, maybe something like potatoes or toast, and just making sure you're having some type of fluid after. And then as well as some type of fruit or vegetable that is available in that specific DFAC.
So one of the simple tips that I suggest if you don't have a protein shake or a protein source is like chocolate milk. They are like highly sponsored after running events, and it's one of those things that just prepared before the ACFT. You have like a little cooler or something that you can keep the milk cold, and then post ACFT, it's like what we call a poor man's protein shake. So that is one of the things that I would suggest as far as protein. The simple sugars, right? Especially if it's chocolate milk.
Yes.
God, delicious.
Delicious.
Yes, and so that's one of the things that I look at as far as recovery drink.
Hits all the marks. You got your protein from the milk. You got your carbohydrates from the chocolate. It's a fluid as well.
Yeah.
Maybe adding in some fruit, and you're really hitting all 4.
Okay. All right. You churched it up. You're gonna add some fruit to the chocolate. Just like blueberries activate
A little bit extra.
antioxidants.
Little bit extra.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, the senior leadership of the Army Reserve has to know what's going on. So with all the changes, the finalization of getting ready to go initial operating on the ACFT, equipment's being shipped. So who better to bring out here than the Senior Command Sergeant Major of the Army Reserve, so they can experience, understand it, so they can go back and get the word out to our soldiers that, hey, this ain't life ending. This is okay. It's not that hard. Just put some effort into it. It's all about effort. It's like anything in life. What you put into it, getting ready, prepping, is what you get out of it. So no different than the current APFT. If you practice, put some effort, some sweat, and tears into it, you're going to do great. It's going to be easy. It's not going to be that hard. It's all about what's going on in the Army Reserve, what's coming, and how can we shape it. We have control of our future. We know what our soldiers can't do, and our issues in the Army Reserve, so we need to make sure we can do what's required. It's about effort. It's about motivation. It's about willing to go the extra step. We can do this.
I am Sergeant First Class Donna Davis. I am with the 372nd Mobile Public Affairs Detachment, and they are out of Nashville, Tennessee. Today, my goal was to do some upper body weight training, and for me, it's something that I try to always include during my workout week because I know that we are changing over to the Army Combat Fitness Test, and that is something that I'm not very good at, is upper body strength. So today I was doing some bench presses and some other weightlifting exercises in hopes that it'll help build up my upper body strength for the new Army Combat Fitness Test, specifically the hand release push-up event. I would like to tell the junior soldiers, and even if I can even go back when I was a junior soldier, that you need to constantly be looking outside physical fitness training to work on your strength. You should not be just waiting for PT when you're in the gym. Set yourself some goals. Don't be scared to put a little bit more weight on whatever exercise you're doing and push yourself.
Come out with this better prepared to train our soldiers than what we are at this moment right now. Hope, take it.
As a unit, we decided to come out and embrace the community and run a 5K with them, because while we do drill here, this isn't really any of our hometown, so it's good for us to be able to get out and show that we do more than just show up once a month.
This is it. First wave of the 5K.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for all of us to bond because it's something more than just doing a PT test. You know, it's more than just showing up, you know, doing 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, running 2 miles, and then getting out of there. And so that third mile is, it's a real pain. And a lot of times in life, you know, you get to that third mile and it's a pain, but you got to keep pushing even though your legs hurt. But you know, it builds resiliency, that's for sure. Definitely builds resiliency.
looks like the main height adjustment is up front. Yeah, that. I think you have to basically pull it forward. Yeah, that's it. Hey!
I think it's 10 purpose.
Yeah. Hey, big legs.
It's 10. 20? Is it 20 or is it 10 purpose? 8. That was 10. 9. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Might be a little weird now.
All present. All present. All present. We're done. What are you doing? Doesn't matter.
Oh, so what's the orange? Orange. Sweet, I got an orange one too.
5, 4. Oh, there we go. No, that's not it.
Uh-huh.
That's all going to be done at the same time. Okay. Is that a good one?
All right, that's it.
Friday night, I should have you guys up.